Hello everyone, and welcome to Video Game Jumble. You are currently watching our Pokemon Go video series, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about some of the design flaws and criticisms that I found playing Pokemon Go. That's coming up next, guys. I really can't avoid saying this, guys, because I'm an old school Pokemon player. I like the way the old games were made, and in my mind, they didn't need fixing. But Pokemon Go does things a bit differently. My first criticism is that they completely remade Pokemon. So there's a few main things that changed here. The first thing was how you do battle in Pokemon. I enjoyed the turn-based combat. It was a good system, and it was what I was used to. Each Pokemon took turns attacking. They could choose from up to 4 moves until one trainer's team of Pokemon was completely defeated. But in Pokemon Go, battles aren't turn-based, they're real-time. Each Pokemon now has only 2 moves, one that's a bit weaker that you can spam by tapping on your screen, and one that's a stronger move that gets powered up over time during battle, and you can cast it by pressing and holding your finger down on the screen. There's also a dodge mechanic in the game, which you can use by swiping left or right on your screen in battle. Pokemon types are actually thankfully still in the game, so if you're using a water move against a fire type Pokemon, you'll do extra damage, but the multiplier is less than in old school games. It's only about 25% additional damage. The next big thing that they changed was how you catch Pokemon. In the old school games, you had to actually battle wild Pokemon with your Pokemon, using the turn-based system that I talked about earlier. You'd weaken the wild Pokemon by attacking them, and then use a Pokeball and pray to the Pokegods. Dorime, interimo ad appare dorime, ameno, ameno, lancire. But in Pokemon Go, it's just you, your Pokeball, and that wild Pokemon. The interface looks like this. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pick up your Pokeball by pressing and holding onto it. The wild Pokemon will have a targeting circle like you see here, which is what you're aiming to hit. As you hold your Pokeball, you'll see this circle fluctuating, shrinking down to a pinpoint and then blowing back out again, rotating like this. And what you're going to want to do is swipe your finger up across your screen and release the Pokeball, aiming for the circle as best as you can. The smaller the circle, the more difficult it is to hit, and the more extra points you get for doing so. Hitting smaller circles also gives you a higher chance to catch the Pokemon, so it's a good thing to practice. And the last big thing I want to talk about is how they changed Pokemon leveling up and evolving. Back in the day, Pokemon could level up from level 1 to level 100, and they had experience bars for each level. You'd gain a certain amount of XP for fighting other Pokemon in the turn-based combat system, and they'd gain increased stats each time they leveled up. At certain level breakpoints, they could learn new moves or evolve into their next form. But in Pokemon Go, Pokemon have something called combat power instead of displaying their actual level. And combat power is a visual representation of that Pokemon's strength. As you can see here, it's displayed as a sort of semicircular slider bar. The further up on the bar this little white dot is, the stronger the Pokemon. Also, your trainer level impacts how high a Pokemon's combat points can be. So each time you level up, you can also level up your Pokemon a bit more. So at this point, I just wanted to clarify a bit and say that I don't actually hate these features. At first, I'll admit I was pretty closed off to the idea of changing the way Pokemon worked, but I have to admit that it's grown on me a little bit. It's not necessarily always bad to try new things, and I respect that Niantic didn't just take the safe route and copy everything from the way the old games worked. But it's definitely something to be aware of and something that's still very open to criticism. And the last thing I wanted to talk about here is how the user interface is laid out. So this is something I noticed right away, because one of the best ways to judge a UI is to have someone who's never seen your app before test it out and try to figure out what they're supposed to do as quickly as possible. And it took me about 3 days to completely figure out this UI, guys. And that's because there's a lot of little hidden features that are sort of tucked away. It's not always obvious what you're looking for or where it's going to be. I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail about the UI because that's pretty in-depth, so I'll have to do another video about that. But what I would like to say is I think visually it's a bit oversimplified. They need to more explicitly show you where all the various parts of the UI are. If you're just looking at the main screen, you have 3 interactable menus here. You have this one that looks like a trainer profile of some sort. You have this one, which looks like a Pokeball, and this one, which looks like a list of Pokemon. It's really kind of unclear what any of this is. I mean, maybe you could predict what the trainer profile is going to do, more or less, but the rest you just have to sort of figure out on your own. And I really feel like this could have been done better. They could have unified the menus. They could have made the more hidden features or difficult to find features more obvious. And also, they should probably have an option to lock the menu buttons somehow, because it's pretty common for me to try to click on something on the map and I accidentally click on one of the menu buttons instead, which can be pretty annoying as well. Okay, so all the criticisms are out of our system. We have a pretty good sense for the game, and I'm not idealizing it for you guys. I'm making sure you know all of the shortcomings going into this. But if you're going to play Pokemon Go, I'm gonna have to go into a lot more detail about the user interface, which I will be doing in my next video. And that link is right down here for you guys in the bottom right. If this is your first time on the channel, I'd love it if you guys subscribed. You can find that button right here. Also, my website, videogamejumble.com, it has articles that I release to accompany these videos, and the link to that is down here. And my social media links are below me as well, guys, so like and follow those if you want daily updates and video game content. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.